What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I just got the news that Dillian Whyte is facing off against Alexander Povetkin for the WBC Interim Heavyweight World Championship. This fight will be at the Manchester Arena in England on DAZN May 2nd, and I'll definitely be tuning into this fight, as it's a fight I've always wanted to see. Two fighters that are ranked in the top 10 going up against each other for an interim title. It's been a long time since we've seen an interim title actually being fought for, besides Dillian Whyte fighting Oscar Rivas. Meaning, I feel like this time, Dillian Whyte, if he wins, or if Povetkin wins, there will be definitely a defense, as it puts them at the number one spot. And I don't think there's going to be any controversy like when Whyte beat Rivas and he was caught for PEDs and all that controversy. But to get into this fight, Alexander Povetkin, he's 35-2 with one draw, and he's from Russia. He's the former WBA heavyweight world champion. He's had a couple of defenses of his title. His two defeats are to Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. The Klitschko loss was a couple years back, I believe in 2015 the fight was, or in 2013 actually. It was in his hometown of Russia, or his home country of Russia. It was in Moscow. And Povetkin was dropped, I believe, 4 times, but all 4 of them were slips, and the referee did not notice that. And being that Klitschko is known for utilizing his straight and push method, the referee just let it slide, and Povetkin was apparently dropped 4 times, which I saw the fight a couple years ago, and I thought none of them were knockdowns. But Povetkin is an excellent fighter, in my opinion. He won his title against Ruslan Shagayev, and there's one memorable moment where Teddy Atlas was his trainer, screaming at him to come back, and he later did come back, and he won the fight via decision. And in my opinion, Povetkin, as I said before, is a great fighter. In his right, he has a great amateur background, although he is age 40, and I believe he will be turning 41 in May, or maybe earlier. Comment down below if I'm incorrect about when his birthday is. But he's been in a lot of tough fights, but against Anthony Joshua, he did get stopped, I believe, in round 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he did get dropped, I believe, twice in that fight, the second knockdown being the finisher. And he did stun Joshua in the end of round 1, and most people did not notice that. He came in with a lead right hook, making Joshua have to regain his balance at the last second of the first. And I thought that would have caused trouble for Joshua, being that he doesn't fight as well against shorter fighters, like against Carlos Takam, where he didn't take him until the 11th round to get the stoppage, which was kind of controversial. But his opponent, Dillian Whyte, Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, he's at 27-1, and he's, in my opinion, a great fighter. His only defeat was to Anthony Joshua years back for the British title in, I believe, the December of 2015. Where he got stopped with a huge uppercut, replicating when he got dropped against Oscar Rivas. He seems susceptible to uppercuts, as he's been dropped twice, but in the Rivas fight it didn't really look like a huge uppercut like Joshua's, but he landed one uppercut to Joshua and stopped him. But in that fight, Dillian Whyte did hurt Joshua, I believe in the mid-rounds. Before, I believe 2 rounds after he hurt him, the fight was over and Dillian Whyte was on his back. But Dillian Whyte does have some good wins over Lucas Brown. He's recently coming off a decision win over Mario Zwak. He also knocked out Derek Chisora, and he also had a fight against Joseph Parker where he got a decision. He did drop Parker twice. One of them was a controversial headbutt, but the second time, Parker was leaning on Dillian Whyte's shoulder, and he landed a huge right. I mean huge. Knocked out Parker right as he got hit, but he was able to regain himself and get up. But then he was dropped in the 12th against Parker as he was so tired. But I believe in this fight, since Povetkin is such a good hitter, he's got good power, he's got great skill, I believe Whyte needs to really come into this fight prepared and healthy. Because if he comes in like how he did against Joseph Parker, he did look good against Parker, but he was a little too heavy. Or if he came in like how he did against Marius Wach, I know he was not taking that fight seriously, and he took the fight only on about a week's notice or 2 weeks' notice, he would not win this fight. But it could go definitely either way. This fight's a really 50-50 fight. Even though Povetkin may be 40 years old, he's still one of the best heavyweights out there, and I put him in my top 15. And Povetkin, he's got great hooks. I believe his hooks are his best punches. They provide a lot of power. And he did knock out David Price with a huge hook, as well as a lot of other fighters. And if he lands that hook on Dillian Whyte, who knows, he could get knocked out. If Dillian Whyte lands a huge shot on Povetkin, who knows, it could be lights out for Povetkin. And I believe Povetkin was dropped against David Price, but not officially dropped. David Price hit him when he was sort of off balance, I guess you could say. Povetkin went flying into the ropes. Referee Steve Gray called it a knockdown, and that was on the Joshua vs. Parker undercard. But then Povetkin later regained himself, obviously, knocking David Price out with the hook, like I said before. But this fight will definitely be an excellent fight, and it's for an interim title. It definitely will put them at number 1, as I said before. And being that Wilder and Fury are having a trilogy in July, I'm not sure what they would do next if they win. Possibly wait, like Dillian Whyte did for those couple hundred days that he waited for a Wilder fight when he was mandatory. Which the WBC should have definitely did something about that, in my opinion. I did think that Wilder was scared of Whyte at that time, and I believe that he could have beat Wilder since Whyte has great power. But it could be like an Ortiz fight where Whyte wins the whole fight but then gets knocked out, because Whyte does have a pretty bad chin, in my opinion, being that he's been dropped in almost all of his big fights. But overall, as I said before, excellent fight. They should put an excellent card for this great fight. And as fight week comes closer, I'll be making a prediction video on this fight. And as I said, I kept saying this 100 times throughout this video. This fight is great. I'm not sure if it's going to get as much hype as a lot of the other fights, but still, great fight. You guys should be tuning in. I will definitely be. And that's really it. I'm going to be boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.